We get that. There it is.
Awesome.
Yay! I think it's all working smoothly. I love it when all of the technology comes together.
I know. It's like we're out of Mercury retrograde, so technically everything should work, right?
Everything should be working. Hey
I guess.
guys, so we put an event out there about coffee because this is something that's very near and dear to my heart. So I am always wanting to learn more. And I heard from quite a few of you out there that you want to learn more too. So I thought I would call in the expert, which is no pressure, Miss Natalie Morse. She is a pharmacist and a functional medicine practitioner. She lives in the southernmost part of Canada in Ontario. She's a mom of two boys like myself. Her happy place is the trails at Point Paley. Is it Paley National Park?
Point Peely.
Paley National Park. We're soaking up the warmth of the sun on a beach. Oh, yeah. So, for years, Natalie, you struggled with mood swings and blood sugar imbalances and gaining weight. And then she learned to address the underlying cause of her resistance to weight loss. And she learned to return to the weight that she was before she had kids. So, and Natalie's also a triathlete, which I did not know until last weekend. So you are like the bomb all the way around, aren't you?
I don't that feels like a past life already, but yes, there was that phase.
So thank you so much for being here and helping us to learn more about this valuable substance that we all love in our life.
Amazing. Thanks for having me, Jen. It's been so great to connect with you and get to know you better over like we've known each other for about a year now. I'm guessing if my memory serves me correctly. And you know what better to bring friends together over a cup of coffee? Isn't that like our default? Like, hey, you want to go catch a cup of coffee? And over the last 2 years, when most of us have been very much confined to our home, I love that I've still been able to share coffee virtually with friends and still have Monday morning, early morning coffee meetings with friends from, all around the world, from the US and Germany and the UK and all parts of Canada. So, hey, yeah, let's talk coffee tonight.
So one of the things that we put out there was the link between coffee and inflammation. So what can you tell us about that?
And I've worked with a lot of autoimmune clients, like a lot of women especially with different autoimmune conditions. And when I was starting my functional medicine practice several years ago, it was a common question. These patients would come to me and they would ask, I hear I probably shouldn't have coffee. Is coffee bad for me? And so at that point I wasn't a coffee drinker. So I had to do the research. And I was conflicted for a very long time because I would find research papers that say coffee is good for you. Here's the reasons why coffee is beneficial. I would also see these are the reasons why maybe coffee is not so good for you. And for especially like with my autoimmune clients, there's a lot of inflammation in the body. So that's like one of the reasons of is regular coffee contributing to their adrenals being burnt out? Is it contributing to the inflammation? Is it contributing to the acid load, which is a stress on the body? And a lot of times, conventional coffee, yes, absolutely, it would do that. So, whether coffee is good or bad, I would say is still kind of negligible. But when someone's body is already not well, and whether they have pain, inflammation, chronic fatigue, fibromyalgia, another type of autoimmune condition, then we know the body needs some support to get into a healthier state. So when there's any question that, ooh, is this good or bad? It begs the question, should I be having this? So when I got introduced to this coffee that we're going to talk about a little bit tonight, it was about 4 years ago I got introduced to it. I was like, it answered my coffee question because I found a coffee that has a superfood in it, which is called reishi, or Ganoderma is the other name for it. And the superfood in this coffee does multiple things, so it has multiple benefits. We can talk about a few tonight. But a big thing that it does is it is a natural inflammatory agent, and it also is very alkaline. So coffee on its own, very acidic.
Mhm.
And then when we put something very alkaline in it, it's going to make it more neutral to the body. So, why is somebody struggling with inflammation or an autoimmune condition? These are the factors we have to consider. So, if we're getting to the point of like something you put in your body every day or several times a day with a cup of coffee, if we can make a change and upgrade that to something that's not as acidic, that has anti-inflammatory properties, that has some detox properties, that has other things that are going to support our body being healthy, that's a really, really great choice and a great option to start doing every day.
Yeah, for sure. I really wish that I had had this coffee back when I had to stop coffee for all of the reasons that you're talking about. And it took about 7 months of being off of it altogether before I was strong enough to, again, to where I could heal a little bit and take that break. But with something like this, I wouldn't have had to miss my coffee so much.
Yeah, and I definitely have a lot of clients with, again, if your regular coffee, if you're well and healthy, carry on. But we're gonna give you an option tonight to try a healthier cup of coffee. But I'm thinking like my one client who, she again similarly has a thyroid condition, struggled with anxiety a lot, and she had to like say no to coffee because she would not feel well if she had coffee. It would make her anxiety go through the roof.
Mhm.
She would have it and then crash after. But having this coffee, she can now enjoy her morning cup of coffee. Because for many of us, it's like it's an enjoyment. It's an enjoyable part of our day. So
Yeah.
why not? So she can have that moment to herself and not feel the negative consequences of what the regular coffee used to do to her.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I know, like you mentioned, leveling it up, right? We're always talking to our clients about, return on investment. If I'm gonna consume this, is it, am I gonna get as much out of it as I possibly can, right? Because we don't want to be eating all day long to try to get everything in. So when you can consume something that has multiple benefits across the board, then you're really in a win-win situation, like with the coffee.
And I know I'll go back to, I know a course that we were both a part of last month where we were presented with like, whenever you put something into your body, ask yourself, is this nourishment? Is this entertainment? Is this addiction? Right? So it's like if you're
Okay.
asking yourself multiple times a day, so most traditional coffees, um, it's usually it's going to fall into the addiction category. But if we put something that's we know is nourishing into it, we right away change the intention to start our day. It's like, oh, I've now taken this thing, which it might still be entertainment if you're being social and we're meeting at the local coffee shop. Nothing wrong with that, right? But it's like I now purposely chose to nourish my body first thing in the morning versus default to the addiction. I know
Yes.
that was like a little heavy for a Wednesday night, but
No, it's true though. So, I very much is this fuel, is this entertainment. So this is something that now can become fuel. So with, like you said, a lot more purpose, a lot more intention to it. And that during that same time, I loved when they were talking about, relationships and how, before you go and have dinner with someone, or before you have coffee with someone, you ask all these questions if it's someone you don't know, to make sure it's someone you would like to meet or what have you, and you try to get to know them first. But when we sit down to eat, we don't treat our food that way. We just consume, right? We don't have that conversation. We don't get to know it. Like, what are you and what are your intentions with my body? Because it literally, and what you consume is something that literally becomes a part of you. So that's even more important, right? At least that date or that social event, you're going to walk away eventually.
and I like that, right? Because I fully believe it's like, we talk a lot about like your morning routines or morning rituals, right? It's like if you're having that cup of coffee, right? Such a great intention, like you're starting the day with the intention.
Yes.
So, it's, are you just chugging the cup of coffee because you know you need the caffeine to like go, or are you like sitting with that cup of coffee and enjoying it? Like, no guilt. Like, you don't be like, oh, I have too much coffee. Like, enjoy it. If it's there for a ritual and it brings you joy and happiness,
Yes.
let's make it as positive for your body as possible.
Mhm.
That's a great way to start the day. I love sitting on the couch while my kids are rushing off to school. I'm like, bye guys. I'm finishing up my cup of coffee.
Adios, I'll be right here.
And I'm, with my cat, I'm like, I'm having my happy moment, right? I'm
Right.
fusing in with that. And I know I'm starting my day with something really, really beneficial for me.
Yes. I don't know if you saw this. Did you see the documentary Fantastic Fungi?
Of course I did. Yes.
Yes. Wasn't that amazing? So that, brings a lot of awareness to the medicinal properties in something like Ganoderma or reishi. Can you talk to us a little bit more about that?
Yeah. If people haven't seen the movie Fantastic Fungi, I highly recommend. It will change your perception of like, well, one, what even a mushroom is, and how interconnected everything is on this planet, and the beauty that is here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you're listening to Jen and I, like, we talk from that space of like seeing the beauty and wanting to be a part of that and enjoying life and appreciating that. So if you watch that movie, and I recommend everyone to watch that, it's just like, oh, you can really appreciate the gifts that are here on this planet, the
Mm-hmm.
things that are naturally here, and how we can use them, and how they've been used safely for thousands and thousands of years. And a lot of times in our Western society and culture, we just weren't educated about them.
Right.
Like in ancient
Exactly.
China, they've been using these medicinal mushrooms for thousands of years, right?
Mm-hmm.
In Western medicine, we don't really talk about what you can go out into the forest and pick yourself. We don't talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
So I love, again, so I love reverting back to nature. I love reverting to like the treasures of the earth. The coffee that I drink, the CEO, the founder of the company, calls it, like, his mission is to like share the treasures of the earth with the people of the world. And it's like,
Oh, I
oh,
love that.
yeah, it's like, I love that, right? This is a treasure that's here, and he made it his mission to share it with other people. So I love medicinal mushrooms because they have so many beautiful properties that we've talked about. Like in terms of inflammation, we know Ganoderma affects inflammation by at least 7 different mechanisms. So there's all, without going too deep dive into the science tonight, but there's all kinds of different molecules in your body that promote or are part of the inflammatory cascade. And we know Ganoderma positively influences at least 11 different mechanisms that we know of at this point. And we're always learning more about it almost every day. There's
Mm-hmm.
studies showing that Ganoderma helps with something like with rheumatoid arthritis, which is an autoimmune inflammatory condition. It helps alleviate pain just as good as prescription anti-inflammatories. This
Mm-hmm.
is the actual language from the medical research,
Mm-hmm.
that it works. And again, this is something natural that you can consume safely every day without the risk of a prescription anti-inflammatory, which could possibly give you an ulcer. It's like, okay, and this is what the medical research shares with us. So very, very powerful. So I love the medicinal mushrooms. And I know, we're talking a lot about coffee, but there's also a tea available that has another medicinal mushroom in it, which is cordyceps. So there's a lot of medicinal mushrooms, and if you watch Fantastic Fungi, you're gonna get information on reishi and lion's mane and chaga and cordyceps and all different ones of mushrooms you never even heard of, and you're like, what? How? I never even heard. It's definitely not your white button mushroom at the grocery store.
Exactly.
So cordyceps is another medicinal mushroom, and for me, I call it my adrenal soother. For me, it's great for the adrenals. It's also very beneficial for the lungs as well. And this company has it in a red tea, so it's very nice and mild. And I know you drink the red tea, Jen. How do you
Yeah.
find the flavor of that?
The red tea is very light. So, coffee obviously has a stronger flavor to it. So I love the red tea a little bit later in the morning because it's very light and smooth for me.
I agree. I often will have that like 3 or 4 o'clock. As like, I
Mhm.
want something late in the afternoon, but I don't want to be having a high dose of caffeine at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So that's when I'll go to the red tea, because the cordyceps in it also has the Ganoderma in it too. So you get it like 2 for 1 essentially. And for me, again, I just visualize it like soothing my adrenals out
Yeah.
as my day's kind of winding down.
Yes, especially now that it's so cold out. And instead of just drinking plain water, I find myself drinking more of the herbal teas or the green teas and the red tea. I love those. So,
Staying hydrated in the middle of winter is a challenge. I've been finding that with my clients. We've been getting creative with things like that, like drinking more teas to encourage you to like get that fluid in. 'Cause it's not like it's hot in July. We want to drink all kinds of water.
yeah. And they can go, and there's so much like between the insulin response. I mean, the medicinal properties, it's so broad, not just if even if you don't have an autoimmune condition. But you can go into PubMed. It's a tool that anybody has access to that you can use, and you can just start searching Ganoderma and whatever your condition is, and you'll probably hit something because it is that widely researched.
Yeah, and that's why I use it in. I run a weight loss program, so I'll have people drink the coffee or tea while we're making other lifestyle changes for them. And a big reason is because of its effect on insulin. I work with a lot of women who have hormonal, usually it's hormonal based why they haven't been able to lose weight or they keep gaining weight. A lot of women with like PCOS, which there's a insulin resistance there. So
Mhm.
I know that's one of the reasons why I have such success with my clients. With, again, it's not just one thing. It's like we're working with them on their mindset and what they're eating and how they're treating their body and overhaul. It's like I've had one client with PCOS. She's lost 30 pounds since January, and like we're in the first
Yay.
week of February, right? So it's like that's part of her regimen, and that's one of the reasons why is to get underneath that insulin resistance. Because if you have any level of insulin resistance, which most people do for years before they even know it, you
Mhm.
will have a hard time losing weight.
Yeah,
So Ganoderma works on the liver, it works on the insulin receptors to get insulin working better and get the sugar floating around out of your bloodstream, because we don't want that sugar floating around your bloodstream. So it helps control that and helps the hormone signaling. Insulin's a hormone, right? So if
yeah.
we know we're changing, we're just talking about one hormone here, we know we're positively affecting one hormone, guess what? That cascades to all the other hormones as well.
That's right. Yeah. I personally had PCOS, and I was diagnosed with that. I was going for infertility treatments. I had no idea what it was. And no one ever along the way, whether it was my family doctor, my infertility doctors, gynecologists, no one ever mentioned the insulin factor. They were like, oh, well, maybe you could try to reduce your carbs. That was it. That was all they said. But it's so much more than that. That insulin piece is huge in those situations.
Wow, wow. And yeah, and unfortunately, you're right. Most women with PCOS, they've struggled for years with their weight and never really, no one really told them, like, what you see your sister or your cousin doing to lose weight, and you're doing it and you're getting frustrated because it's not working. It's like, yeah, just exercising more or cutting
Oh,
out carbs isn't probably going to be enough if you have PCOS. We
that's
need
right. Yeah,
to
I did it. It didn't work.
you're like, did it, tried it, nope, did not work, right? We
Was
need
not
to
the right answer.
we need to get underneath that insulin resistance for sure.
Definitely. Yeah.
So if we can do that with a cup of coffee, something we're already doing, and that's why I love recommending it to my clients and patients, because not people come to work with me for a set period of time, but I love it that I know that they can take something with them and continue on to be healthy. That they don't have to keep coming back to me every week or every month for an appointment, right? So it's
Mhm.
putting the power of your own health literally in your cup and into your body every day. So those are things you can carry with you and continue those healthy things to foster you for years to come.
Yeah. I love when people will ask me with the mushrooms and they'll say, well, can I have too much of it? Can I have, and I'm like, not when it comes to mushrooms. You can't have too much. There can never be too much. If you want the coffee, if you want the green tea, if you want the red tea, all in the same day, it's quite all right. It's okay.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, and that's a great question. A lot of people ask me like, well, how much? And so I generally recommend, if you're healthy, if you're using it as, okay, I want to put something good into my body every day, like you would take a B complex vitamin, like you would take your vitamin D, I like people to have 3 servings a day. So whether that's 2 coffees and a tea, we have it in capsules as well. So if you just want one coffee and some capsules, that's what I recommend. People have 3 servings a day. And then
Mhm.
there will be people, depending on what medical conditions they have going on, that I will have them take more. And that's when I'll definitely use the capsules, so that, not having 6 cups of coffee a day, because we don't need that much caffeine. But we can use it for the people who would benefit from having a little more than just the 1 or 2 servings for sure.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned the capsules too, because when I first saw that available on the site, I was really excited. I have them too.
Yeah, I happen to have them on my desk.
Yeah, there you go.
Because like this is like the spore. So we'll do so the capsule. So there's the mushroom, but these are the spores. So from the mushroom releases spores, and that's how it propagates. And if you watch Fantastic Fungi, Paul Stamets will explain it way better than I will, with beautiful imagery. But only a healthy mushroom can produce spores. So it's very unique that the company we choose to recommend to our clients even has spores available, because if the mushrooms aren't grown in the right environment, they will not even produce a spore because they're not healthy enough to reproduce. So the spores are like my 911. So it's like I recommend everyone should have a bottle of spores in their house. You might not take it every day, but you'll know if you feel like a cold's coming down, you're getting a scratchy throat. If you're someone who has cold sores and you get a cold sore that's popping out, that's when you start taking the spores. Because
Hmm.
it's like, that's my firm belief is like everyone should have that in the house as their 911. You might not need it every day. It's just like your medicine cabinet, right?
Yeah.
Hopefully you don't need the band-aids every day, but when you need it, you know it's there.
Yeah. So having them both on hand, the mushroom and the spores are great.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So the mushrooms are good on a regular basis. Spores are, I love how you said that. The spores are the 911. I'm going to steal that. That's good.
Yes, you are free to steal that. And I know so I'll just share a little bit more about the coffee that we drink and we're talking about tonight. So it's this one, and this is the one you drink, right, Jen?
Yep.
Yeah. So there's two different types of coffee available with the Ganoderma in it. So the King is the coffee is all organic, and then it has the spores of the mushroom in it. So this is why this is the premium product, and this is the one. So I do make sure I get spores every day, usually at least two. So that's the one I have, and these are in little single serving sachets. So the coffee is pre-brewed and dehydrated, so it's not like instant. It's a little different. So you just open the sachet, you pour the powder in your cup, you add your hot water, you're ready to go. You don't need the wasteful Keurig machine or the Nespresso. You don't need a French press. You just need hot water, which is great. The other one is the black. So this one's like a bolder roast. So some people like prefer the flavor of this one. I prefer the King. I like the milder one. A lot of people love if you the bold roast, they like this one. So this one, the Ganoderma, the reishi mushroom is organic in it. The coffee is not organic, but the Ganoderma is organic. So that's the two different flavor options for coffee is like the King, which is a little smoother, and the black, which is a bold roast.
And the black, does that have the spores in it too? I've never tried the black one.
It has the mushroom itself. So it
Okay.
has like the Ganoderma mushroom, and the
Hmm.
King has the spores of the Ganoderma mushroom. So that's the spores are more potent than the mushroom itself.
Hmm. And that's why they package them individually, right? To make sure that each serving has the appropriate amount of those things in it.
Exactly. It keeps it fresh. And
Hmm.
then we know for sure, like if you had a canister, we know for sure this has one serving in it,
Hmm.
right? Versus if you had a canister, it settles, it mixes. We know that you're going to get a reliable dose from it.
Right. And that's great. For me, that has worked out great because when I travel back and forth to my hometown, I can just grab the packets and take it with me. And I know I'm always going to have my coffee. It's
Yes,
great.
when I travel, I'm with this, or like my son's not playing hockey now, but when he was playing hockey, right? There'd be like the lineup at the Tim Hortons in Canada, and I'm like, can I just have hot water? Because I got my own coffee.
The airport, they're like, water? Just water. You don't want a tea bag? You don't want just water. Yep, just water. So great. So the spores, so you said 3 servings a day, which is really good. That's helpful. Spores are 911. The coffee, about it, does it have the same amount of caffeine as a regular cup of coffee would?
Yeah, same as a typical
And the
cup
tea
of
too,
coffee.
the green and the red tea, it's about the same amount, right?
Yep, a green tea is like same as a green tea. The red tea is a little bit less than a green tea,
Okay.
but green tea is like a standard cup of green tea.
Hmm. Perfect. Okay, awesome. So when they're purchasing it, they can even do like automatic reorders, right? So is that possible to have it auto shipped to them?
Yeah, and so there's an auto ship program. So if someone like again, it's like if you're having 2 cups of coffee a day, all right, I need two boxes for the month. The best thing to do is put that on auto ship because you're going to save like 25% if you put it on an auto ship.
Hmm.
So I know Jen can share the information for those people watching and listening who want to try some. So you get 10% off your first retail order. So we're like, try
That's
it, pick which one like order one of each, right? Because you're saving 10% on that first order. So you might as well order the couple ones to try it, see which one you like. And then we decide, okay, this is the one I want to keep drinking, or I like this one and my husband likes this one. Then you can
hmm
put it on auto ship, and then you're going to save 25% off the retail price.
Yeah. And that's good too, because then as the day, as it gets, if we're going to have our 3 servings, so you might want to, if you start with the coffee and then the green tea, and then, like you said, the red tea is a little bit less. So maybe as the day goes on, switching to that one. And that would be really good in the winter time because it's something nice and hot. If you don't want to have all those servings of the coffee. So a box of, and they have a mocha too, don't they? And a hot chocolate.
They do. So if
They
you've got kids, the hot chocolate is great. Like I give the kids the hot chocolate. And then the mocha, that's like my Friday afternoon treat. I try to keep the sugar down. So the mocha does have sugar, it does have like a creamer in it, but it has more Ganoderma in it. So the company's super smart and it knows like, okay, sugar's not awesome. So they put more Ganoderma in it to help balance out the effect that the sugar would normally have on your body. So I don't have a mocha all the time, but that's my treat like once or twice a week. I'll have a nice mocha in the afternoon.
That's your Friday afternoon party. The weekend's
It
coming.
is. That's like it is. Like it's again, it's these rituals like it's Friday afternoon, I deserve a mocha.
We used to have a martini, now it's a mocha. Cool. So I'm going to put the link in the comments here so that we were just talking about how smooth technology is, and right now it's spinning. So
Of
I
course,
want to
because,
post.
yeah, because we're streaming Zoom, right? So as soon as you're on live Zoom, everything on the computers just go. Eh.
Yeah. So if I can't get it in there before we end, I will post it after we're done. And that link will take you so that you can order all these awesome things. And like we said, put it on auto ship, because it's really, really helpful. If, not only for a health journey, it's helpful for weight loss, it's helpful for inflammation, and it's helpful to just maintain. Maybe you're already where you want to be from a health perspective, and you just want to make sure that you stay there and you keep that pace. So so this was great. I feel like I just had a cup of coffee because this is like so much fun.
It's like we're holding it, right? I'll give
I
you.
know, I'm like, can
I'll
I
give you.
smell?
I'll give, it's that good, folks. It's that good.
It really is. One time someone said, "Oh, you don't want to drink your that instant coffee." And I'm like, "Are you kidding me? Don't you dare insult us."
I'll share two quick things. So one I was going to share before. So like the red tea, because I know you're kind of new to it. I love the red tea in the summer. I will brew it up in a liter mason jar and put it in the fridge and have it as an iced red tea.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And fantastically refreshing because it's like in the summer I need something more than water on its own. So
Yeah.
I find I'll do up like the liter and it's like oh, so good. And then
Now, how
since we're
many packets to a liter do you do?
I do
Just
one tea bag.
one.
Yeah, I do one tea bag to a liter.
Okay.
And the tea bags too, like when I do a tea, I'll do a full cup and then I'll reuse the tea bag. So I'll get two cups out of my tea bag.
Nice. That's good. That's
Yeah.
good.
And since you were talking about the energy, I don't think you've tried it yet. So we also have an energy drink, which is called CXT. So it has reishi in it. It has lion's mane in it, which is amazing for your brain.
Mm.
It's an energy drink that we actually partner with our brain technology. Crazy because reishi's good. We didn't even talk about that. Reishi's good for the brain. Lion's mane is great for the brain. It also has a probiotic in it. It has theanine, which is very calming, and it
Mhm.
has monk fruit in it as a sweetener. So there's no sugar. But the
Nice.
first time I got the CXT, the energy drink, just feel like I'm very perceptive and sensitive to energy. I just felt it. I'm like, whoa. And I have like some friends who are like very do energy work and stuff like that. And I didn't say anything, but one she like loves her organic too. I was like, here, just hold this. And she just held it. She went, I'm like, yeah. So
That's
if
what
you're
I'm talking
someone who,
about.
yeah, so like if you're someone who goes to an energy drink either before workout or in
Mhm.
the afternoon, like try the CXT. It blows any other energy drink. Like if you're hitting the fancy coffee shop in the middle of the afternoon for a pick me up, do this instead. No sugar, so you're saving probably 300 calories.
Mhm.
And again, you're putting so many great substances in your body. It's going to give you sustained energy without a crash after.
Nice. I'm definitely going to try that because I'm so glad I didn't place my order. I was going to order earlier today, and then I would just, one thing led to the other. I'm like, oh, I'll do it tomorrow. And I'm so glad I did because I'm going to try that now.
So good.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Awesome. Yeah. So anyone watching this, listening to, like, that's what I'd recommend is grab a box or connect with Jen of the best way to get some and to get some samples so you can try it, see which one you like the best. And you may or may not notice a difference in one cup. You'll probably like the taste of it. But usually we find like, okay, have a box continually. And like a big reason, a big thing that people notice is if a lot of people get acid reflux from coffee,
Hmm.
heartburn or some sort of acid
Yeah.
reflux. And so I've had so many people that they'll grab a box of coffee, they'll drink it, and then they'll be like, my coffee ran out, so I drank what I was used to drinking before, and I can't drink it now.
Oh my
Because
gosh.
the
Yeah.
instant they had the other coffee, they had crazy acid reflux. And they didn't even realize it that it had kind of like gone away. And they're like,
Yeah.
oh.
Yeah, I remember I had a conversation with someone not too long ago, and they were a similar thing. And they were, well, I put milk in my coffee. I can't eliminate that because, otherwise I get the acid reflux and the heartburn. I'm like, another reason you got to switch your coffee.
It's like, and I do the same thing too. I'm like, try this black. And people are like, that's crazy. Like, again, it's like, I've been putting cream and sugar in my coffee for 30 years. Like, okay, well, we're here to do things a little bit differently, right? We're here to change things up. So let's try. And over and over again, people are like, wow, I can actually drink that. And the biggest reason why is the lack of acidity,
Hmm.
right? Like, someone brought me a coffee at work one time and I was just like, I just smelt it. I'm just like, I can't even drink this. Like, I smell conventional coffee and I can just smell the acid in it.
Hmm.
Like, yeah, you can have that. Most people can drink that black if they're used to even doing the cream and sugar on the regular basis. So it's definitely worth the try.
Yeah, I heard about a study one time. Someone said, I don't know if you guys have them in Canada. There's Dunkin' Donuts. It's kind of like your Tim Hortons
Mhm.
sort of. And they were saying how they to test the coffee, they pour it on duct tape. And if it permeates the duct tape, because it's so acidic, and it's like, yeah, and that's not good. That's not good. That's not good.
That's going in your body. That's, again, no wonder it's ripping your stomach apart.
No, we don't want to do that. So, yes. So, we're going to help you guys level up your coffee so that it can be a health benefit instead of a hindrance. And if it doesn't look like I'm going to get that link in there before we end, but as soon as we end, I will have the link in there and you guys can all sample it, try a few different ones and see which one you like best. And we would love to hear what you think, right?
I would love to hear your feedback after what you noticed after you had it for a week or a month, because it's going to be fun. You're going to enjoy it and it's going to taste good.
Yes. So thank you so much for being here with us and helping us to learn all this great stuff. And I will see you soon.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Jen. Have a great night, everybody.
You too. Bye bye.